On this edition for Saturday, November 13th, global climate talks go into overtime. And on the road in Maine, new challenges ahead more than a year after COVID shutdowns. And the birds of Acadia. Next on PBS NewsHour Weekend.
PBS NewsHour Weekend is made possible by Sue and Edgar Wackenheim III, Bernard and Denise Schwartz, the Cheryl and Philip Milstein family, the Anderson Family Fund, the estate of Worthington Mayo Smith, Leonard and Norma Chlorfine, the Rosalind P. Walter Foundation, Koo and Patricia Ewan, committed to bridging cultural differences in our communities, Barbara Hope Zuckerberg. We try to live in the moment, to not miss what's right in front of us. At Mutual of America, we believe taking care of tomorrow can help you make the most of today. Mutual of America Financial Group, retirement services and investments.
For 25 years, Consumer Cellular's goal has been to provide wireless service that helps people communicate and connect. We offer a variety of no-contract plans, and our U.S.-based customer service team can help find one that fits you. To learn more, visit consumercellular.tv.
Additional support has been provided by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, a private corporation funded by the American people, and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. This weekend we are reporting from Maine, a state we visited a year ago, as residents, business owners, and political leaders struggled to recover from COVID pandemic shutdowns and prepared for the coming winter. Vaccines were not available then. Local theaters, restaurants, and many business owners were hoping for more help from the federal government. This year, vaccines are here. Stores are open, but there are new economic concerns, and COVID is still a worry for many. We will also look at climate change here and how scientists are enlisting citizens to help monitor rising sea levels. And we will have a report on how a new state law may set new standards for who pays the costs of recycling product packaging. We'll begin our return to Maine reporting right after the news summary. The United Nations Global Climate Summit came to an end today as nations reached an agreement after making a compromise on coal.
Hearing no objections, it is so decided.
Delegates debated funding for climate damage and fossil fuel subsidies, among other sticking points. A divide between rich and poor nations widened, and many activists criticized the agreement, saying it will do little to slow global warming. Earlier in the day, the summit's president stressed the importance of the agreement.
And this is the moment of truth for our planet, and it's a moment of truth for our children and our grandchildren. And you all know that the world is willing us on to be bold, to be ambitious, and so much rests on the decisions that we collectively take today.
Representatives from nearly 200 nations gathered for a group photo late today. Before the final vote, U.S. Special Presidential Envoy for Climate John Kerry urged all countries to ratify the agreement.
Obviously, we know the old adage of negotiation: you can't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. And this is good. This is a powerful statement.
For more on the wrap-up and results of the 2-week-long UN Climate Conference, I spoke earlier with NewsHour correspondent William Brangham, who joined us from Glasgow.
As this conference winds down in Glasgow, we've been hearing all the negotiators say that while there are parts of this document they're not happy with, they believe the overall agreement is essential and they're signing on to it. The main goal here has been, as we've reiterated over and over again, can these nations cut their greenhouse gas emissions enough to stop the planet warming even more to a dangerous degree? And there are parts of this agreement that move in that direction. Amazingly, in 26 conferences, this is the first one where fossil fuels are specifically mentioned in these documents. They also talk about the removal of the subsidies, the $500 billion that world governments give to oil and gas companies every single year. John Kerry yesterday referred to that as the definition of insanity This document talks about trying to phase those out as well. There's also greater talk about aid and doubling aid for the developing nations who are most hit by climate change. You'll remember several years ago, wealthier nations promised $100 billion every year starting in 2020. They have failed to deliver on that amount. Critics claim that nothing in this agreement really moves that ball far enough. In fact, activists today held a mock funeral for COP26 in a cemetery here in Glasgow to protest what they argue is inaction on this issue and on others. Overall, it is important to remember that these agreements have no real binding mechanism. There's no enforcement here. These words are largely exhortations for these countries to do better, to promise to do more, to make plans for the future. It's been an ongoing criticism that there is really no way to hold these countries that fail to live up to what they sign on to accountable. That is not changing. I mean, by any measure, this is the most discussed issue in diplomatic history, and yet there is very little to show for that in terms of results. In those 30 years, emissions have continued to go up, temperatures have continued to go up, and climate-driven disasters all over the world have continued to go up. That is the uncomfortable truth behind all of these climate conferences.
In Sudan today, tens of thousands protested the military takeover of the government. On Thursday, military leaders announced the formation of a new ruling council that excludes the civilian coalition, which shared power since 2019. Eyewitnesses reported security forces fired tear gas and bullets at the crowds, and a doctors group said at least 5 people were killed. Sudanese pro-democracy groups vowed to continue civil disobedience and protests against the military coup. France marked the 6th anniversary of the terrorist attacks that killed dozens of people across Paris and a nearby suburb today. Islamic State extremists carried out the coordinated shootings and suicide bombings in 2015 at a concert hall, bars, restaurants, and a stadium, leaving 130 people dead and scores injured. Vice President Kamala Harris, who was in Paris for a 4-day visit, ended her trip by paying tribute to the victims killed during the attacks. Ceremonies were observed in and around Paris with the French Prime Minister and the city's mayor attending. They laid wreaths at various sites and stood in silence as the names of the victims were read aloud.
Romain Duné.
Late yesterday, a federal appeals court in New Orleans continued to block a Biden administration rule requiring large companies to mandate COVID-19 vaccines for employees. The Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals declined to lift its temporary stay, despite the Biden administration's argument that stalling the rule, quote, would likely cost dozens or even hundreds of lives per day. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration issued the rule earlier this month, requiring companies with 100 or more workers to require COVID-19 vaccines by January 4th or require face masks and weekly tests. At least 27 states, along with private employers and religious organizations, have filed challenges against the rule. For more national and international news, visit pbs.org/newshour. For the past year and a half, every city in America has struggled with the back and forth of pandemic life. Shutdowns, reopenings, partial shutdowns, partial reopenings. Here in Portland, Maine, all of that has contributed to an economy that is bustling on the one hand, struggling on the other. NewsHour Weekend's Christopher Booker was here in 2020, and he came back recently to revisit some of the residents, government officials, and business owners as they work on ways to move forward.
Last October, when we met Mary Alice Scott, the executive director of Portland Buy Local, the outlook for the city's small and independent businesses did not look good.
We surveyed members during the height of what would normally be the busy season, and about a third of them said they were considering permanently closing.
Considering closing because the summer of 2020 was not really summer at all. Normally, it's the season that helps carry businesses through the slower winter months. But July and August of last year brought only a fraction of the normal traffic to Portland's downtown businesses, and sales were down substantially.
Everything from restaurants to real estate have been really suffering. They've seen a decline in revenue, sometimes 80-90%.
And that was before the winter. But as vaccines arrived in early 2021, so too did additional financial support for businesses. And late last spring, As in the rest of the country, COVID restrictions in Maine started to ease. And Portland is a much different place than it was a year ago.
We have had a really busy year, with some businesses saying that they're busier this year than they were in 2019.
But busy doesn't mean easy. As in everywhere in America, Portland's businesses are struggling to find workers.
It is rough. A lot of businesses will tell you that they've had to change their hours, so close on certain days of the week, limit their service, maybe restaurants only doing dinner instead of lunch and dinner. And it's because mostly they can't find staff.
And is that because people have left the city? Are they doing other things?
Yeah, so I talked to one manager recently, and she said that, like many businesses, they had to lay off a number of people during the height of the lockdown. And they saw that the folks who they laid off ended up leaving Portland. They went back to school, they finished school in some cases, they started a new career, or they're at home caring for small kids. And so it's several problems that make this one labor shortage really difficult to solve.
I have stood in many lines waiting because of the restaurant or the coffee shop is without workers. And I've overheard many people say, it's these stimulus checks, it's these work support checks that are keeping people away. We just have to pull those work support checks away.
I have heard that complaint, and I think they're kind of done now, right? So they're not continuing in the same way that they were. Maine cut off the additional support a few months ago and instituted the requirement that people be actively looking for jobs. They reinstituted that several months ago, and we're still here.
The worker shortage means some businesses have to be strategic with their operating hours. We visited with Damian Sansonetti last year at Cheval, the restaurant he owns and operates with his wife, Ilma Lopez. Like so many others, Cheval was primarily a takeout restaurant at that point.
We're probably doing 50 to 60% less of our business than we were compared to a year ago.
A year later, Cheval is open 5 nights a week and employing 25 people. Each new hire bringing the restaurant closer to the 2019 staffing levels, when they employed nearly 40 people.
We want to eventually get back to 6th and 7th day, but we're taking the baby steps because we want to make sure everybody feels good, that we can work and do those things.
Are you actively looking for people to work?
Yeah, the business has been good, and we want to keep expanding the business and possibly going into more days open. And that's why 2021 was maybe a little bit harder than certain things about 2020, where it's not like it was in 2019. But then again, we weren't doing everything perfect then either. So this is our time to re-look and look in the mirror and how can we make certain things better for us, for our team, for our guests.
The worker shortage is not the only headwind. Portland's businesses are also wrestling with the supply chain pressures plaguing the whole country. Kelly Fernald has owned and operated the outdoor retailer Nomads for the past 18 years. While business is much better than it was last year, supply chain problems that run from production in Asia to delivery here have at times forced her to turn away customers.
For each shipment that I've placed, I'm getting probably about 60 to 70% of what I ordered. It's nothing like I have ever experienced.
And the situation is equally confounding for Portland city government.
Certainly things are different now than they were a year ago, more optimistic, but still really challenged.
Kate Snyder was elected mayor of Portland in 2019.
How are the city's receipts, parking revenues, all of the things that go to the city's coffers?
So some receipts have rebounded. On-street parking, doing okay. Garage parking, not doing great. All of those workers that we relied on coming in to spend the day at work are coming back here and there, not 5 days a week, so different. Things like cruise ship revenues, they're not coming. So city revenues are fluctuating. Again, we're seeing some rebounds, some not.
The American Rescue Plan, or ARPA, passed last spring, has helped Portland with some of the lost revenue.
In our current budget, we used ARPA funding to help bridge the gap for municipal revenues that we did not see coming in. So we used about $8.5 million in order to help us balance our budget. So the fact that we needed to use federal money to plug local revenue gaps is telling, and I think we'll see it again next year and maybe even the year after.
So as the mayor, do you consider Portland to be in a period of recovery, or are we still in the middle of all of this?
I would say both. I would say we're definitely recovering, and we deal day to day with challenges that have resulted from COVID and all of the myriad impacts of this pandemic.
And then there are Portland's most COVID-challenged businesses, like the State Theater. When we met General Manager Lauren Wayne in 2020, the outlook was grim.
We had to lay off most of our, if not all of our part-time staff and our seasonal staff, and that was really hard.
How many people?
That was about 170 people, and some of these people have been with us, since we reopened in 2010. So it was really difficult, and it's still very difficult. We have no hope in opening this year. I mean, what business can survive generating zero revenue for over a year? I don't know any business or industry that can. So if we do not see some kind of targeted federal legislation to this industry in particular, it will be massive closures across the whole country. And in Portland, Maine in particular, that's going to hurt really bad.
Targeted funds did arrive. In July, they received money from the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant, a fund created by Congress as part of the economic relief bill passed in December of 2020. The money landed just as outdoor COVID restrictions started to ease, allowing the State Theater Group to hold outdoor concerts in July and August. And then on August 31st, after being closed for 535 days, the State Theater opened its doors again, with Melissa Etheridge taking the stage.
What did that feel like for you?
Oh man, I don't know. It went from like I'm crying and laughing and hysterically, like I look like, I don't know, I had an issue. It was awesome.
Did you think you would make it a year ago?
I did. I was fairly confident we would because there was not really another option. And honestly, without the SVOG money, that would have been almost impossible.
Tonight, a month and a half since it reopened, the band Spoon is taking the stage.
We're still not seeing 100%, ticket holders show up at a show. We're having 20, 25%, 30% less scan rates, which is really a struggle for a small independent venue because it's not only the ticket sales, which, majority of those are going to the artists, your ancillaries and concessions and your food and beverage, which are really integral to this business, and those are down. So I don't foresee those, normalizing for quite some time. The pandemic's not over. Doesn't look like it's going to end anytime soon. So we just are trying to adapt to that right now.
How far out are you planning? Do you have shows booked through the winter?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm planning and booking shows the same way as I did. The only difference, well, there's a lot of differences, but the main difference is really you're taking it, instead of 1 month at a time, you're literally taking it one show at a time because you never know if it's going to play off. And then the day of the show, when the band's setting up, it's like the sigh of relief. We're like, it's happening.
If we come back in a year, where do you think you are and where do you hope you are?
I hope I'm right up there drinking a beer at a show. I feel like I would love to see us back at 2019 pre-pandemic levels where you're never going to have to worry about a show cancellation unless an artist is like, there's a winter storm and they can't make it. You're never going to have staff shortages. 100% of your ticket holders are going to show up to a show, which, rarely ever happens, but 95% would be really good. And just, everybody being a little less stressed about if the show is going to happen.
Do you think you'll be there?
I think we will. I think we're actually really close to getting there.
Now where did you get for so long? I've been learning my scene. I've been watching my friends move away. I summon my love back to me.
Maine is known as Vacation Land. The nickname is even on the state's license plates. Few places in the state attract more visitors than scenic Acadia National Park on Maine's coast. By this time of year, many of the seasonal businesses have closed and the tourists have thinned out. But that does not mean there is not a lot to see, including some stunning backdrops and plenty of birds if you know where to look and listen. How many species of birds do you think you've seen in this area?
It's probably in the high 60s.
In just this area?
In just this area, like in a 4-hour walk on a 2-mile loop. So we're going at like half a mile an hour. And
wow. On a seasonably wet and chilly day earlier this week, field biologist Rich McDonald took us on a tour of some of his favorite places to look for birds in Acadia National Park. So when you listen You can hear different birds. Are you hearing any right now?
Yep. So I would say most of my bird watching is actually bird listening. And so I'm hearing the chirping of a black-capped chickadee. It was over here doing this little kind of dee, dee, dee. Let's just listen for a moment, see if I hear anything else. There's a really faint, off in this direction, really faint, high-pitched kind of seat. It's hard to hear with the rain pattering on the ground and our jackets, but yeah. That's a golden crown kinglet. It's a little bird.
MacDonald has been birding for most of his life and leads tours in Acadia and, before the pandemic, all over the world. He's also a big proponent of birding locally.
Anywhere you go, you'll find birds.
To commemorate the 100th anniversary of the Migratory Bird Treaty Act, which protected birds migrating in the United States, MacDonald spent 2018 cataloging as many birds as he could see in his home county of Hancock, Maine, which includes the park. MacDonald published a book about his year of intense birding called Little Big Year: Chasing Acadia's Birds.
In the course of the year, I saw 268 species of birds, and most of them were things you would expect to see, but some were uncommon or some were even downright rare. Rare for this area, not necessarily rare in the planet. And I think maybe the biggest message was that you don't have to go to all these exotic locations, which is really fun to do, but we saw a lot of really good birds here. These guys are not migratory.
But for MacDonald, it doesn't have to be a rare bird. He says that he gets a lot of pleasure out of seeing common ones.
Most people, they look at that cluster and they say, oh, just seagulls.
Yeah.
What do you see?
And so I look at it right off the bat, I see two particularly large gulls that have white heads and white underneath and black backs, and those are called great blackback gull.
Okay.
It's the largest gull in the world.
Oh, wow.
And then so I look with my binoculars, as I can see at least 3 juvenile great blackback gulls.
So not even a seagull is born?
No, I think seagulls are fascinating. Seagulls are fascinating. People talk about chickadees are so common. Oh, it's just another chickadee. And I'm like, but the chickadees are really cool. Let me tell you about any number of stories about a chickadee. But yeah, every bird is interesting and unique in their own way if you look for it.
MacDonald is in the midst of another year-long birding project right now, one inspired by the realization of just how environmentally taxing his last annual project was.
At the end of the year, I drove 6,390 miles, and I was really kind of disturbed by how much I drove locally birding in 1 year. I swore that I was going to do it differently another time, and I would do it as a zero carbon birding, which I'm doing that this year. So I'm only counting birds this year when I leave my house under my own power, by bike, walking, carrying my kayak the quarter-mile down to Northeast Creek and paddling into the ocean. So, seeing a lot of different birds that way, and showing that you can see almost as many birds under your own power as you can driving.
With a little less than 2 months left in the year, MacDonald has already seen more than 250 species. To go with the zero carbon theme, he's incorporating research on climate change into the project, which will also be his next book. As in almost every corner of the Earth, global warming is being felt here, changing the food habitat and ranges of birds.
People come here and always ask me, we want to see puffins. Where do we go to see puffins? But we're seeing puffins starting to struggle because we're at the southern end of their range, and puffins forever have been feeding the young a small little kind of almost eel-like fish called a sand lance. That's kind of a big part of their diet. And the young can just swallow it down. Because of the warming Gulf of Maine, and the Gulf of Maine is warming faster than almost any other saltwater body on the planet. So we're finding fewer sand lances, and we're finding more fish that are similar length but are fatter, called butterfish. And the puffins, adults, are feeding the young butterfish, and we're finding the young puffins are often choking on these fat butterfish. So we're seeing reduced numbers of puffins fledging in this area. Again, we're at the southern edge of a habitat range, so we expect to see some fluctuation, puffins expanding further south or further north, but this is a real problem, and that's purely due to global warming.
His tour business took a big hit during the pandemic in 2020, but MacDonald says that tourists have come back in force this year. Acadia has had a record number of visitors, part of a pandemic-related trend of people wanting to get outdoors.
It's kind of exciting in that we're getting more people into the park who are going to hopefully love the park and appreciate it and want to become stakeholders in conserving natural lands. I'm taking a lot of people out that are really unfamiliar with the natural world, and they're so excited to learn about it. That's great.
That's all for this special edition of PBS NewsHour Weekend from Maine. For the latest news updates, visit pbs.org/newshour. I'm Hari Srinivasan. Thanks for watching. Stay healthy and have a good night.
PBS NewsHour Weekend is made possible by Sue and Edgar Wackenheim III, Bernard and Denise Schwartz, the Cheryl and Philip Milstein family, the Anderson Family Fund, the estate of Worthington Mayo Smith, Leonard and Norma Chlorfine, the Rosalind P. Walter Foundation, Koo and Patricia Ewan, committed to bridging cultural differences in our communities. Barbara Hope Zuckerberg. We try to live in the moment, to not miss what's right in front of us. At Mutual of America, we believe taking care of tomorrow can help you make the most of today. Mutual of America Financial Group, retirement services and investments. Additional support has been provided by Consumer Cellular and by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, a private corporation funded by the American people, and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
You're watching PBS.